Okay, we're here for another spray sealing video. I have three different types of scenes in general. We have some scenes stamped on foil, then we have some mirror cards, and then matte and glossy cardstock using some dye-based inks. The spray sealing on each one of these will be slightly different. Oh, and then there's some glow-in-the-dark materials. And I think I am going to spray seal those a little bit differently as well. Okay, so you're not going to see a lot of transformation here because when you spray seal pigment inks, the change isn't quite as drastic as it can be when you're spray sealing something that's been coated with a lot of transparent dye-based inks. A lot of those brands of inks dry in kind of a dull sheen, and when you spray seal them, the difference can be quite drastic in terms of the intensity and value, light and dark, and bright and dull. But these ones, I don't know, this is more of like a technique video, and I don't think we'll be able to see much transformation. Now, the one thing that I would say is anytime you're spray sealing an acrylic spray over white pigment ink, if you've ever spray sealed or spray fixed something like a pastel type of drawing, and if you've added anything light, the spray sealant can make those pastels or chalks a little bit more transparent, so you'll lose some of that detail, or some of those lighter details as the darker underside comes through that top layer. So you have to be careful not to overspray your pieces in terms of the usage of that white pigment ink, because white pigment ink is almost like a chalk when it dries on a surface, and it's very surface-oriented when it comes to usage on non-porous surfaces, such as a foil. Okay, so when you're spray sealing, okay, now I'm going to start off with the KRYLON UV-resistant clear here, okay? And I'm going to spray seal from maybe about a foot away, and I'll do it in short bursts, okay? And kind of keep your hand moving, like that, so that you don't get it built up in any single area. Okay? I don't see any change happening when I'm doing this right here. Okay, now maybe I might have just changed my mind on that red one right there. That red one right there, when I just spray sealed some of that white imagery that was stamped on that one, I don't know, that red looked like it got more vibrant, and it looks like it's changing the impression slightly. Let me give you a little bit of a close-up here, and so we can see the difference between the blue foil. I don't know why it would be different, but see down here, the red showing through a little bit more. Now, I might have stamped the top of the trees up here thicker, and down here I might have wiped off some of it, so it looks a little bit different. But I can see that spray kind of change this. And also, that red foil, when I added things like the white pigment, or white acrylic paint pen on this area, a lot of that red showed through. So I don't know, maybe the properties of these different foils are different. Okay, so here's the blue right here. And there's not a lot of change in that, the white impressions, okay? Down here, that white pine tree right there is a lot more, moving towards transparent. And over here, I don't know, they're translucent, but you can still see them, but on the white, really not so distinct right here. I'm talking about this one in the foreground, okay? I mean, I think they still look interesting, but there's a difference between the initial impressions and the spray sealed ones. Okay, so these are glossy cardstock and dye-based inks. I also use some pigment inks on these to give it that kind of misty look as well. But let's spray seal some of these. Let's see here. Let's see, let me zoom in slightly on this. Okay, let's see if we can see any difference here. That's the left side sprayed, not on the right side. The change on that one was a little bit subtle, but I could definitely see, you know, a difference. Now on here I didn't layer a ton of dye-based ink, so you can't see too much of it, but on that grassy area, that area right there becomes much more, well, not, I don't know about much more, but, you know, a decent amount of saturation comes through on that. And you can spray seal these pieces a lot more thick, you know, thickly coated with spray sealant. Okay. All right. Here we go. Right here, this blue one should be fairly distinct, and these ones that you get darker on with more dye-based ink should, I don't know, benefit from this spray sealant. Okay. Sorry if my hand's in the way there. I kind of do it a little bit more perimeter-oriented because the lighter areas are usually on the interior, so I'm usually spraying the outside where the ink is layered the you know, the thickest. Okay, let's go with some of this. I don't know if this UV aspect, I don't know if that has anything to do with glow-in-the-dark. But these are glow-in-the-dark pieces here, okay? And I stamped on these with a these are both glow-in-the-dark stickers, and these ones right here are the glow-in-the-dark paper. And I think I'm going to spray seal these with a workable fixative instead of the UV resistant clear. I don't know if that UV, like I said, will do anything, so. The workable fixative is matte, okay? Alright, that one, there was quite a bit of change on that one because of the dye-based ink aspect of it. And I have to work fairly fast. It's a little breezy out here. It doesn't take much for a breeze to pick up and blow our pieces around. And it doesn't take long for the acrylic spray sealant to dry either. This one has quite a few scratches on it, you know, but I can add on some additional black to just fix that. And here's the mirror card piece. I should have covered this up right down here because to keep that really glossy and mirror card-like. Okay, and then we have the mirror cards here. And okay, I've often used foil up on the top areas, so we really need to spray seal those parts. But to keep this real chrome-like, what we're going to do is we're going to cover up the center portions of that lower section. Okay, I might not hit everything perfectly, but I don't care about that. Okay, and I'll go with the UV resistant clear, okay? So we have to spray seal the areas down here. I mean, you don't, if you're just keeping this for yourself and you know how you're going to be handling these pieces, I mean, you don't need to spray seal it because you're not going to be taking your own piece and scratching it, but, you know, the whole idea with cards, not all of them, but a lot of times we send it to people, so you just don't want to send over, like, too fragile of a piece in terms of them touching it and, you know, scraping off something, so it's a good idea to spray seal. You can spray seal lightly, too. Okay, moving parts on these ones. Okay. Do that. And we have our mirrored surfaces still nice and intact and mirror-like, right? I love these mirror cards. It's really difficult to stop making them after you do one, because just the benefit to these of that area down below, just it changes the pieces, I think, almost exponentially in terms of the visual impact. Okay. Alright, I'm finding it easier just to hold this right there. I might be getting a little slight overspray on my hand, but I don't care, I just wash it off. Okay, and there's a glow-in-the-dark piece on this one, so I'll be a little bit careful about that. And let's check out that mirrored aspect and make sure it's okay. See that? You still get a nice, glossy, reflected imagery right down in that lower section there. And same thing in this Cave of Diamonds one. See that? But you get all this kind of perimeter fixing of that ink down on the surface there, where it was very prone to being scratched off with, you know, very little handling. I just put my finger in that wet area right there, but that'll dry off just fine. I mean, I shouldn't be holding it like this when I'm just doing it for the video here. Okay, so anyways, that's the spray sealing techniques that I use, and hope that came in handy for you. Thanks for watching.